Now sponsored by Commonwealth Proper. Die Proper. Just Espresso. Now we're doing the espresso analysis of these 4 that we just did tiny little videos of. Check out the tiny videos. They're awesome. But yeah, we got the Rwanda, Rob, tell us about this.
Right, so this is from Glitch Coffee Roasters. It is a natural Cedra.
He brought it back from Japan.
Brought all these back from Japan.
All of them.
You'll see that we have some other coffees from Japan that we did a week ago.
He went to Japan and brought a bunch of coffees back.
That is what
happened.
That is what happened. So this is actually the second Cedra that we got to try.
Second
Cedra. But this was actually roasted in Japan, whereas the other one, I believe, was from home ground out of Singapore.
Yes.
Which
had won
so
third in the Brewers Cup.
Yeah.
2022. Let's talk about Glitch Coffee.
We'll go over the others in a moment. But Glitch Coffee Roasters, man, it was beautiful. I walk in, I get out of the train, I walk up these steps. They're inside of an office building situation, like glass windows all around, and leather couches everywhere. Just like an entire room of leather couches. A record player, old school,
Yep.
and then a mod bar.
This is when we have the roaster in there too, right?
This one was I didn't see a roaster.
It's like ones. There are multiple glitches.
They have
I think there's 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, this was like a smaller.
Yeah.
They just had their pour over station. They had their mod bar, and they had just like all these beautiful glass jars filled with coffees, and you could pick any one for a pour over, pick any one for espresso.
Yeah, because Glitch doesn't think that sunlight harms the coffee for some reason.
It's definitely interesting to have a glass jar because like it pops too if you open it. So yeah.
So this is back in, I want to say 2018, maybe 2017. I got the opportunity to go to Tokyo for a couple days. I was at Glitch Coffee, maybe one of the different locations. Look up and see this white dude, which is fine, but we're in Japan.
Relatively
we're in Japan.
Odd.
But I also seemed to recognize him. I was like, what? And then he left, and then he came back in. I was like, wait, I definitely recognize this dude. I go up and talk to him, like, you from Philly? No, he's not from Philly. You from Texas? No, he's not from Texas. Is he a musician? No, he's not a musician. He asked me if I work in coffee, and I say yes. Turns out this dude is the multi-time Swiss barista champion, multi-top 5 finisher in World Barista Championships. The reason I recognized him is because I had watched his videos and studied what he was doing with his videos, because the year before he had just done coffee vintages, I think. No, he had done different coffees for his final thing, which was pretty cool. He told me to go to Coffee Mamea, which is the other cafe, sort of, it's not really a cafe, that Rob also went to. But when I was at Glitch, he was in Tokyo looking for coffees. And he looked at the barista and said, this is the best pour over I've had in Tokyo. And this coffee you brought back is insane.
This is really nice.
It's really, really good.
And this is over a month old at this point. It traveled the thousands of miles to get here from Japan. I actually put all these coffees in a box, used my clothes as a means of padding the box, which also added weight to the box, so it was more expensive to ship. And they showed up recently, and yeah, this was really interesting. I mean, definitely was sweet. It was a little winey, very little though. I mean, like for natural, that I was expecting it to be even more fruity and more acidic than it was. It was actually really lighter. I think we both agreed on the lime part of it. I got like strawberry, but also sort of like a Snickers bar. Or what's the one with the marshmallow?
You got the Snickers. I didn't get the Snickers so much.
Not so much Snickers. What's that one candy bar that has marshmallow in it? Chocolate marshmallow.
I do not know.
If you know that, let us know in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
Milky Way. No, Milky Way.
Does not have marshmallow in it.
It doesn't have marshmallow, but the mouthfeel, it's a thicker mouthfeel.
That is nougat. Anyway.
I'm not an expert.
They just don't call it marshmallow then. It's not marshmallow. Ripe cherry with like the seeds. This reminded me of like, if you're, so I grew up like I used to live close to a lake. So in the summers you're at the lake and somebody brings a thing of cherries. It's a big bowl, but there's the seed in all the cherries. And like you're eating some of them and they're okay. But then you get one that's like super ripe and just juicy and flavorful. And then you like spit the seed out into the lake, because that's what you do in the middle of the lake. And that reminded me of that. That was just this delicious, super beautiful ripe cherry with just like a little touch of lime that maybe from your margarita you had like, still had on your lips or whatever, and you put that in, it's like that combo of those two.
Yeah.
Very winey, I agree, but it was so beautiful.
Right, when you say the margarita, for our viewers, there is a touch of saltiness, which sometimes happens in our espressos, and it's not a bad thing. It's definitely like it could be bad, right? If it was too salty, definitely just a hint of a saltiness, maybe a little dryness.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Moving on. We have, this is a cafe I stumbled upon in Osaka. And I'll be honest, I have only vague recollections of the spot. I believe I got an espresso. It was not this coffee as espresso. The espresso they had, I wanted to get, but they sold out. So I ended up getting this, and it turns out all for the better, because this is an El Paraíso, which is the same farm as the Manhattan Coffee Roasters decaf.
Which is the best decaf I've ever tasted.
The best decaf. And so I was super excited when I just saw El Paraíso. I was like, I'm sold, that's it. And yeah, this is a double anaerobic, relatively high altitude at 1,700 meters.
The double anaerobic, meaning that it's gone through 2 anaerobic fermentations.
Right.
Meaning they pull out the oxygen. Or at least they cut off the oxygen. It's kind of interesting. I got, which makes sense in the smell. I smell just musty peanut butter cup. Like it was like you open your gym bag and you got your peanut butter cup and you're like, I want that peanut butter cup. And then maybe like it's next to a sock, you get a little of that musty, maybe barnyardy smell kind of thing. Not quite exactly that, but something in that direction. But then when on the tongue, on the mouth, it was all sour cherry for me. Just like a pretty sour cherry.
Yeah, this was definitely a weird one for me. I've never had an espresso that so clearly reminded me of sweet potato with marshmallows on top, but also a little bit of like a roasted orange peel. Almost like my first image in my mind was like of a butternut squash, actually, like a butternut squash with maple syrup and maybe orange peels.
Those sort of combinations of the sweetness with but it's a lower sweetness.
Lower sweetness, the body.
Yeah. The tasting notes say mango, papaya, pineapple, and wine.
Right. So papaya, wine.
Papaya and wine. That's going to give you some of those weird flavors that we're talking about, I think. Yeah. Then we have.
Next up was from
Roughnecks.
Coffee Roughnecks.
Coffee Roughnecks.
So this was one of those spots that, I looked on Google Maps. I was just like, "Where's coffee near me?" I'm in Tokyo, and I saw that. I thought that's a cool name. Let me go check it out. I go in. It's a tiny little shop, right? Like maybe 200 square feet most. 2 seats. There's like the counter. Behind the counter was all the green coffee. There's a little coffee roaster over here. And turns out this guy, Kuma, who runs the shop, he used to live in New Zealand for 13 years, came back to Japan with his wife, opened up this little shop, and it was just a really awesome dude. So hey, Kuma, shout out. Thank you so much for made me a very solid classic espresso that served with a little sparkling bubbly water. It's beautiful. This one in particular, it's an Ethiopian. I'm gonna guess washed. Just by the look of it, by the taste of it. For me, it was orange bitters, graham cracker, and I think after Dave said it, I agree. A little bit of nougat.
Nougat. Now that we've explained what nougat is, we know what nougat is.
We're learning. We're learning.
We're learning. Nougat and marshmallow are different things.
Next up, this is really interesting from Rwanda, the Umurage from Kurisu out of Kyoto. One of my favorite coffee shops in the world that I've been a fan of since about 2015 when I discovered they have a coffee subscription. It actually started as a multi-subscription service, so you could get coffee from all over Japan sent to you for free shipping. And now they roast and exclusively deal in their own coffee. They still do a subscription service. It is amazing. And this was a funky, natural, bourbon, orange candy, white grape, banana, pineapple, cocoa. And I think our tasting notes were pretty different from that because, we're not in Japan and it's kind of old at this point. But still pretty tasty, still really interesting.
What were your tasting notes?
I got syrupy, papaya, and dried apricot.
Papaya, yeah, I don't agree with the dried apricot. I got kiwi lime, but I agree with the papaya. Kiwi
Yeah.
lime, papaya. I got a musty nose, kind of like an IPA almost, but not as
Oh,
bright
yeah.
as an IPA. Maybe like a little bit lower than that, but sort of that interesting funkiness. And but nice, clean and sweet. Actually, the mouth it tasted clean, like not dry.
Yeah, yeah. This was a cafe I went to that I got. Actually, we'll do a video of that next up. I got another Rwanda as pour over, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, it was beautiful. It was well done. I mean, I almost cried. It was so good. Yeah.
But check out the next videos because we are going to do the Rwanda from
Karasu. It's the Kamajumba coming up next.
That's coming up next.
Super excited for that.
We're supposed to tell you to subscribe, so please subscribe because we need more subscribers. Like us.
Comments.
You don't have to like us. You can like us too. Thanks for being here.
Cheers.